Hey guys, it's Nate from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today's video I want to talk on the topic of threshold running because I get a lot of questions on what are the best methods to get the best results by using anaerobic threshold running. This is really where you're running at anywhere from about 88 to 92% of your maximum heart rate. The key thing you want to keep in mind in regards to threshold running is it helps you to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up in your bloodstream. You want to get very, very efficient at being able to clear lactic acid. And the reason why it's so difficult to run at these efforts is because you're continually building that up and it starts to shut down muscle functioning. It's really the hydrogen ion component of lactic acid that really shuts down muscle functioning. And none of us, it doesn't matter if you're a sub 220 marathoner or you're a 4 or 5 hour marathoner, the same problem occurs when we start training at these efforts. So one of my subscribers asked a question. He said, what is the best threshold workout for a 10K and the overall outcome of the workout as well? You have to just keep in mind that especially if you're going into, say, a 3-month or a 4-month block of training, you want to gradually over time lengthen the amount of time you're spending at your anaerobic threshold. So, and again, anaerobic threshold is usually, or your tempo runs, if you're wearing a heart rate monitor, should be conducted at around between 167 to 172 beats per minute. And again, it's going to vary depending on weather conditions. Obviously, if it's very hot outside, our heart rates go higher. So do expect that if it's hot, if you're in a location where the temperatures are hot and humid, your pace is going to be much slower running in the heat than if you were running in the cold weather. So in terms of preparing for a 6.2 mile race or a 10-kilometer event, you want to, something that I always kind of worked on over the years in trying to prepare to get faster over the 10K distance was to do a 20-kilometer run on the roads where you're running 1 kilometer at 165 beats per minute, which is just around 85 to 86% of your maximum heart rate, and then followed by the next 1K at 150 beats per minute. So that's your recovery K. So, and doing that, you're doing a 20-kilometer run, doubling the distance of your planned 10K race, but you're not running at such a high effort. You're not running at your, say your aerobic capacity effort, where you're running closer to your maximum heart rate, which none of us can really do for that long. But if you're running at a moderately hard effort and alternating 1K hard at 165 beats per minute, followed by 1 kilometer at 150 beats per minute for that recovery, it's going to make you very, very strong. You're doing double the distance of your 10K. So the outcome of that particular workout, and again, you're not going to just go out and do 20 kilometers in the first couple weeks. This is a workout that I want you to focus more on if you're more advanced into your training block. So say you're doing a 4-month block of training preparing for a 10K. You want to start doing longer workouts like this, probably around week 9, week 10, and then you start focusing on your taper. So the outcome of that particular workout is you're going to make yourself very, very efficient at racing over 10 kilometers because you're doing double the distance. So you've prepared, you kind of harden your body to be able to handle that general higher levels of lactic acid buildup because you've spent so much time over that 16-week block of training doing moderately hard to very, very hard workouts at closer to your maximum heart rate, which is doing those VO2 max workouts once per week. And again, it's all about progression. You don't want to just rush into this. And one of my other subscribers, Dimitri, he just ran a 35:11 for 10 kilometers. Great time. Brought up a very, very important piece of advice that, in these videos, I often talk about running hard, running at paces much faster than your race pace so you can get used to become very efficient and used to race pace. But it's very, very important to also to not neglect the importance of running easy. This is why on recovery days, you got to remember that all the benefits of your hard work are going to come in the rest period. So you want to take it very, very easy. You want to be jogging on your recovery days, because the hard days are very, very difficult, as you guys already know. And two, the style of training that I teach in my running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com, the training programs, and in the videos that I make, it's a different style of training, because if you're preparing for any particular event, maybe you're training for the 10K in this particular instance, or you're preparing for the marathon, getting used to running longer and harder during your long runs is not easy to do, because we all think, most of the time we think of the long run as just a long, slow, easy run, which it should still be, but not every single weekend. You want to, and this kind of ties into how to run a faster 10K. You can still run a quality 10K on chest mileage alone. If you're running, this is a 6-kilometer race, or 10-kilometer race, or a 6.2 mile race. So if you're out there doing, between 30 to 60 miles a week, it's going to make you very, very strong to race 6 miles or 10 kilometers on the roads or on the track. And as I told Dimitri, I ran my best open 10 mile race off of chest mileage, and that was 51:29 that I ran at the 2007 Cherry Blossom 10 miler. And so I know just easy base mileage can really work and still pay huge dividends. But the more advanced you get, the more specific, more technical the training becomes. So, but then again, don't get discouraged, or don't think like, hey, Nate's talking about these crazy workouts I got to be doing. I got to get on the track and I got to run it. I got to run at my 3K to 5K race pace to prepare for a marathon distance, for a marathon race. That's not necessarily the case. It's just you need to, we're all different and we all have different goals. So for an athlete trying to break 2 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon, that particular athlete has to do a great deal of more aggressive types of workouts than somebody that's trying to run their first marathon or trying to prepare to run their first 10K. So again, mileage still plays an important role. You can still get great results by running just easy, relaxed running, and preparing and just doing those strides, 3 times a week, anywhere from 50 to 100 meters in length, where you're really focusing on your leg turnover and building, working on your speed. So regardless if you're a miler or a marathon, all the way up to the marathon distance, we can always work on our leg speed. So that's very, very important. The second question he asked was, which threshold workout method is more effective? Running at threshold pace for more than 60 minutes, which is more, a longer, more sustained effort, or for a shorter period of time, like 30 minutes. And really, the answer to that is both. The longer you can spend running at that particular effort, at that, between 167 and 172 beats per minute, the better. Because it's going to make you very, very strong, very efficient at clearing lactic acid, conserving that carbohydrate that you need in the race. You don't want to rely on carbs while you're racing at race pace. You want to burn fat at race pace. And to be able to teach your body to burn fat and conserve carbohydrates, that particular physiological effect comes about over a long period of time, and at training at efforts that are a combination of running at just slower than your threshold pace, running at your threshold pace, and also training at your VO2 max effort, where you're running, like I said, you're on the track, you're doing repeat miles or repeat Ks, those real hard workouts where we can only do, we can only spend a few seconds to a few minutes at those particular efforts, on top of running easy, relaxed recovery workouts, recovery mileage. So it's very important to kind of do a mixture of all of these types of workouts in order to get the best results for the 10K. So in terms of running longer than 60 minutes, you're going to have to be very, very fit to be able to do that first and foremost. When I got to a point where I could do threshold workouts, threshold runs for over 60 minutes I knew I was very, very prepared to run the marathon distance. And that particular distance, running that long, will take you some time, and don't expect to be running 60 minutes at your threshold effort the first few weeks of your training program. You want to really focus on doing that at the latter stages, maybe 4 to 5 weeks prior to start tapering down for your big event. Running at 30 minutes or less at your threshold pace is very, very efficient. You can get some great results running between 3 to 5 miles at your anaerobic threshold effort. You want to get used to running between, early on, 2 to 3 miles at anaerobic threshold effort, because it's very difficult when you're out of shape to get your heart rate up that high and to sustain it. You'll also notice too, over the years I've had a very difficult time with this, but the hardest part, I think, with threshold running is getting your heart rate up that high. Once you can push it that high up, it's easier to sustain it once you get it up that high. And again, running it closer to 172, between 167 up to about 172 beats per minute is very high quality running. And again, it's the hardest part of it is getting that heart rate up. So just focus on one, if you're early on in your training, focus more on effort rather than the heart rate. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, I highly suggest you invest in one. I'll leave a link, a couple links below to some of the top recommended heart rate monitors that I've used over the years and that I currently use, and definitely check those out as well. So if you have any questions in regards to threshold running, something that I didn't cover in detail enough with this, feel free to leave me a comment below this video. And if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, so when I make new videos, you'll be notified. And if you would, I'd really appreciate it if you can give me a thumbs up to this video and share it if you wish to somebody that maybe is preparing for the 10K. But I really want, a few takeaways with this in terms of threshold running. Always remember you're focusing on progression. It doesn't, great results in this sport do not come quickly, as you guys already know. It's going to take several weeks for you to get to a point where you can run for longer periods of time and extending that duration of running at your anaerobic threshold. So be patient with yourself. Don't be in a rush. It takes approximately 3 weeks for your body to physiologically adapt to any effort you're trying to throw at it. So the first 3 weeks of your train up for your 10K, try running between 2 and 5 miles for your AT runs, your anaerobic threshold runs. Threshold running, definitely, there's some great benefits that come from this. You're building more capillary beds. You're building your body's ability to clear lactic acid and to run at high efforts for longer periods of time. But the results don't come quickly, so just be patient with yourself in regards to that. And then as you get fitter, you can branch out, extend out how far you're going. Maybe you go between 6 miles and 10 miles for your AT run, further into your training, and then focus on that 10-day taper that I talk about in my training programs and in my running courses. If you're used to doing a 3-week taper leading into your 10K, I highly recommend doing a 10-day taper leading into your next 10K. I've always set personal best doing a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper leading into a 10K or any race. It'll leave you feeling less lethargic and fatigued and tired, that oftentimes, sometimes, not always, but if you start dropping your mileage too far out from your main event, it really kind of makes you feel lethargic and feel a little bit more fatigued. So I've often found that a 10-day taper keeps you from feeling like that, and it reminds your legs to continue to really turn over and focus on that speed that you're working on up until the 10 days out from your big event. Then you want to start dropping down your mileage and dropping your intensity. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Feel free to leave me a comment if you have a question or a specific topic you want me to cover in my next video. And I wish you guys all the best. Have a great week of training, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.